A small Soviet town in Kazakhstan. One ordinary Tuesday morning. A woman walks home carrying 2 bags of groceries. Then she falls. She is not dead, not sick. She just fell asleep right here in the street. This is Kalachi, 680 people in the middle of the Kazakh steppe, completely isolated, with nothing around for hundreds of kilometers. Between 2010 and 2015, 1 in 3 residents kept losing consciousness. Without warning, sometimes for hours, sometimes for 6 entire days. Doctors came, scientists came, the military came. Nobody could explain a thing. For 5 straight years, people here lived in fear of falling asleep somewhere wrong. By the end of this video, you will know the official answer and understand why many who lived through it still struggle to accept it. Kalachi was built in the 1960s for one reason: to serve the Krasnogorsky uranium mine that sat directly beneath every street in the town. Workers settled here. Families put down roots. Children walked to school above old tunnels that nobody ever thought about. Life felt completely ordinary and safe. Then the Soviet Union collapsed. The mine shut down in the 90s. Workers left. The town shrank, but the shafts below stayed, only partially sealed. Nobody inspected them afterward. Nobody monitored those tunnels below. The town above simply continued its quiet, unremarkable life, completely unaware of what was slowly changing. Picture an old house above a cracked, sealed basement, closed off decades ago, never since inspected. Fractures spread. Whatever is trapped below starts to rise. And then, in the spring of 2010, one man went to sleep in his home and did not wake up for 2 days. His alarm rang next morning. His family shook him and called his name over and over. He did not stir, not once. Just deep, unreachable sleep. Paramedics ran every test available. No alcohol, no drugs, no stroke, no injury whatsoever. His body was working perfectly fine. It had simply switched itself off. He woke 2 days later. Last clear memory. Walking to the kitchen. 2 full days had simply gone, erased like a cut from film. He had no dreams, no sense of time passing, no awareness of anything at all. Just blank space where 2 days of his life had been. His wife sat beside that bed for 2 full days. She could not wake him no matter what she tried. She sat there and waited alone. Then it happened again. A child mid-lesson at school, an old man on his bench, a woman in her garden. Always the same. No warning ever. No pattern anyone could find. No identifiable cause. People were collapsing mid-sentence, mid-step, mid-meal. The whole town had absolutely no idea what was hitting it. A woman collapsed while hanging laundry in her yard. A teenager dropped his bicycle in the street. A grandfather fell asleep mid-sentence at the dinner table. But here is what truly unsettled every investigator. The children were not just sleeping. Before they lost consciousness, several of them began seeing dark things. Dark riders on horseback, black figures standing in doorways, multiple children, entirely separate households. Not one of them had ever spoken to the others about it. Yet every single child described the exact same imagery, the same dark riders, the same shapes. Something was simultaneously reaching all of them at once. When investigators compared the children's drawings side by side, the room went completely silent. Nobody spoke for a full minute. Nobody had any explanation at all. This was not a virus, not mass hysteria. Something was acting on the brain, precise, selective, and leaving investigators almost nothing measurable to find. Until then, it was still isolated incidents. Frightening, but manageable. Then came the year 2013. Everything changed inside a single 24-hour period. 60 people lost consciousness in one single day. 60. The town had no functioning response. There were simply not enough people left awake to help. The local clinic had 8 beds. That single day it took in 31 patients. Staff called for help. Help came hours later. The town waited alone. Children collapsed at school desks in the middle of lessons. Parents were urgently called. Several parents did not answer because they were already unconscious themselves. A farmer fell asleep at his tractor controls. The machine kept moving entirely on its own, several hundred meters across an open field, completely driverless. Rescuers found him still sitting in the cab, deeply asleep, the engine still running. Nobody knew how far the tractor had drifted on its own. Whole families collapsed mid-meal. 4 people, same table, same air, same room, all losing consciousness at exactly the same moment. Food still warm and untouched. Parents started walking their kids to school and waiting outside for hours. Not because of crime, because they feared their child might collapse alone. The town stopped functioning. Shops closed early every single day. Nobody went outside alone anymore. 680 people, paralyzed by something utterly invisible. One resident put it plainly: "We stopped making plans. You do not plan events when you might not wake up in time to actually be there." Scientists arrived with full laboratory equipment. They tested the air, the water, the soil. They tested absolutely everything available and found almost nothing at all. The readings were maddening. Slightly elevated on one visit, perfectly normal on the next. No repeating pattern, no clear evidence, nothing that pointed anywhere conclusive. One researcher described it plainly: "Every single time our team arrived to measure, the episode was already over, like trying to catch the smoke with bare hands." There were whispers about the uranium, about radiation, about things the Soviet state had buried beneath this town and kept from everyone living above it. Radiation tests came back normal. Everything came back normal, which only made people more afraid. Normal results do not explain what was happening to them. Meanwhile, for 5 straight years, the official position stayed the same: "We are investigating." No evacuation, no compensation, no clear timeline given, just keep waiting. Think about what that means. You live somewhere people randomly collapse unconscious. You have children. You leave for work not knowing whether today is the day. In 1964, Randy Gardner, an American teenager, stayed awake 11 straight days under medical supervision. Day 4, hallucinations. Day 10, complete personality collapse. Not sleeping dismantles you piece by piece. Kalachi was the reverse, forced unconsciousness. But the symptoms after waking were disturbingly, eerily similar in both cases. In 2015, the government gave an official answer. But note the timing. The explanation and the evacuation order came on the same day. The official cause: elevated carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons rising from abandoned mine shafts sitting directly beneath the town streets. Scientifically plausible. On paper, the explanation fits. Most families were relocated to nearby Isel. The episode stopped for those who left completely, almost instantly, with absolutely no recorded relapses at all. But 60 families refused to leave. Voluntarily. Same houses, same streets, same mine directly below their feet. They simply chose to stay right where they were. And here's the part nobody can cleanly explain. Their episode stopped too. No relocation. Same air, same ground, same mine below. The sleeping simply stopped. One woman who stayed put it this way: "I was born here. My home is here. No invisible force was going to make me leave it." Here is something almost nobody mentions. This town is named Kalachi. In Russian, that simply means pretzels. A place named after bread, remembered for unexplained sleep. Picture waves hitting a rocky shore. Same water, same force, every stone. Some stones shift, others hold still. The answer names the wave, not the stones. The official answer names the gas. But it cannot explain why certain people collapsed and others, breathing the same air, never lost consciousness once. The mine still sits beneath what remains of this town. The shafts are partially sealed. The gas, if the theory holds, is theoretically still present there. And yet the 60 families who stayed sleep perfectly well tonight, year after year. Same air, same soil, same mine below. 0 episodes, not one. Was it the gas? Almost certainly in part. Was it only the gas? That is the question nobody has yet answered in a fully satisfying way. But here is what stays with you. Those 60 families remained in the same town, above the same mine. And now they sleep perfectly fine. Every single night, you hand control of your body to something you do not fully understand. You simply trust that it will bring you back safely. Remember the woman with the grocery bags? She woke hours later, Someone placed a coat across her shoulders. Her bag still lay in the snow nearby. She said it was not frightening at all, just absence. One moment walking, the next, snow, strangers nearby, a coat on her shoulders, simply gone. Kalachi got an official answer. The town was evacuated. The sleeping stopped. But an answer that ends a crisis is not always an answer that explains it. Sometimes the most unsettling thing is not the mystery. It is how quickly we accept a name in place of understanding. Was the official answer enough? Drop your take in the comments. Like and subscribe.